Hello, welcome back to another classic Martin Helen video. I'm your host, Chef Skinner, and today I'm gonna struggle to beat the allegations as we are cooking at a local playground. Today we are following a recipe by a girl called Nikki that we found online for some delicious sweet and sour chicken. So let's see if it lives up to the hype and let's get started. We are gonna need some chicken. It's in the recipe. We're gonna need about 3 large chicken breasts. I think I might have gone a bit too large, but we'll use it all. Once you have your chicken, you just wanna start cutting it up into little bite-sized chunks. Just make them nice and square. Makes it easier to eat. If it's easier, just imagine cutting up some little chicken nuggets or some chicken popcorn. Popcorn chicken. I can't really give them many insides because I'm a fake chef. All right, now that we've cut up our chicken, we can move on to the next step. The next step is preparing up the vegetables. So you're gonna need onions, capsicums, or peppers. It's the same thing. Make sure you get a stop and go. Do you get it? All right, make sure you get a red and green capsicum. I'm a bit lazy. I also recommend this if you're cooking this yourself, just grabbing some pre-prepared diced onions because it saves crying and it saves some prep, and it's usually cheaper. It's $2 for this bag. We're gonna cut up some of these capsicums now. So it's really personal preference. Keep them larger if you want for the more traditional style, or cut them up nice and small, but large is usually better. Oops, doesn't really matter. No one eats it anyway. Everyone pushes it to the side. Get your meat, rip it out. Chuck some onions in there too. I don't know how many onions you're meant to put in there, but are you an onion guy? All right, now that we've prepared our ingredients, next thing to do is we've got to make our seasoning mix. So to do this, we need some plain flour from Woolies, or anywhere really, it's flour, salt and pepper, garlic salt and paprika, as well as corn flour, and we're going to need some eggs as well, which we'll grab that in a minute. All right, so now we're going to put the chicken into the corn flour to the egg, then the egg to the seasoning. Just an example. Get chicken into the corn flour, into the egg, and then from the egg into the seasoning. And that right there is going to be our sweet and sour chicken. Dumping in a bunch of it here. The technique used is the KFC style. We're going off the rails. Essentially, you just want to cover this all up and then mix it with some seasoning. Now that we've seasoned our chicken, we want to turn on our stove and start heating up our wok. Grab some vegetable oil, just pour in a little bit. It's probably too much, but who cares? Right, once we've got our oil into the pan, you just want to grab your chicken. And I'm sure there's better ways of doing this, but start shoveling that bitch in. Oh. Ignore that, I'm not a bitch. Once we've cooked our chicken through a little bit, you just want to make sure you grab a piece and make sure it's cooked, it's not pink. Preferably a bigger piece. So that generally if the bigger piece is cooked, then the smaller pieces are cooked too. You want to grab the mix we've made as well and just dump it right on top. Grab your spatula or your mixing contraption and just chuck it in there. And we're going to cook it for a little bit longer before we put the sauce in. Really want to make sure these capsicums are getting soft as well, so they're not going to get soft up the top. Alright, so once we've cooked up our chicken a little bit, I've just set it to rest for now. We're going to make our sauce, and once we make the sauce, we're going to add the chicken back in, and it's going to finish cooking it all up. So to start off with, get some garlic. This is some I prepared earlier. Chuck in your garlic. You're going to want some tomato sauce, roughly 200 mils, so about that. About 2 tablespoons of malt vinegar. So we'll just eyeball it. It's about 1, it's about 2. And then about 6 tablespoons of some brown sugar. A little bit extra now because I missed some. Alright, sick. So that's in there. I'm just going to mix it up a little. We just the tomato sauce doesn't burn. Can and tinned pineapple. And you're just going to want to pour the whole thing in, juice and everything. Once that's in, mix it up. I'm just going to wait for it to boil, and when it boils, it'll start thickening up, and it will be a really good sauce base. Now that our sauce has started to boil and it's really starting to thicken up, just make sure you are mixing it regularly so it doesn't burn too much. Now we're going to add in our chicken on top of the sauce, like so. Oh, sorry guys. Didn't mean to block you guys from seeing the... Finally, we're just going to mix it up. There are children at the playground now, so just a little update while I'm mixing this. I know that Marcus's journey hasn't been continuing for too long, but I have great news to say: it is in development. All right, now we're gonna mix this. Really make sure the sauce is covering it. Personally, I'd recommend maybe using less chicken, just because you can really coat it all better. But this should be fine. You still get the rough taste of it. Guys, what's next? What's next in the recipe? Is what you might be asking. The answer is sesame seeds. To do this, it's a very simple plating today. To really give it that look and taste. Chef's gonna review. I'll be honest, that might be some of the best sweet and sour chicken I've had in my life. That is not like the takeaway food. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on Chef Skinner. Chef on Wheels. Chef Skinner on Wheels. Car Park Chef and Chef Steen Island, episode 18.